Steven looked at me and he was like, why don't we call your mom? And I was like, no, like if I call my mom, I'm definitely gonna cry. He's like, let's just call her, like maybe it'll be a good morale boost, like she'll you know, give you some encouragement or something. Okay. And he's like, do you want her to come up here? I was like, I don't know. Like this whole time I had told myself that I just wanted it to be me and Steven, and then, you know, the thought of a C-section just kind of scared me, and I just wanted her to come. I just wanted her to come and be safe and healthy and all the things. He's like, let's FaceTime her. So we FaceTime my mom. You know, of course my mom was like, are you okay, baby? I was like, no. And then Steven like flipped the phone towards him and he was like, I think we might need you up here, Grammy. And he flipped it back to me and my mom was like, you need me? And I was like, yes. And I started crying. She's like, okay, I'm on my way. And of course, like my mom lives over an hour away. And so her and my stepdad hopped in the car. After I got off that phone call, my nurse had told me she was gonna let me rest, and then about 6 or 7 nurses came in my room and they're like, actually, we're gonna get you up on your hands and knees. And I was like, what the frick? I was so mad. I think I was the only one in labor at that point. So like they were all just trying to get her out. And the problem was she wasn't just like actively engaging correctly on my cervix, so that's why I wasn't dilating. So they came in there to get me on my hands and knees and they were like, don't you worry, you know, we'll do everything. And I was like, I can move. Like I can get up on my hands and knees, and of course I could. They wanted my chest on the bed and my butt up in the air. My nurse came over there with a sheet on my hips and was, every time I'd have a contraction, she was just shaking my hips as hard and as fast as she could. We did that for a while, and it was like, that was probably the most painful part of the day, because like it was just so uncomfortable for my chest to be down and my big old belly and all the things, you know. They left the room. My mom was on the way. Steven was like, okay, she's almost here. I'm going to go down and get her. I could feel her like super low. Like I just felt like I felt her down there. And I was like, you better hurry up because I'm about to have her. And I said, I swear to God, if I have her and you're not up here, I'm gonna, you know, I was going to get mad. I don't know, maybe 30 minutes to an hour goes by. And like, it did help me relax when my mom came in the room. Not that Steven wasn't doing a great job. Like he was doing a wonderful job and very encouraging. I think that we both just needed to see someone other than complete strangers in the room. Maybe 30 minutes after my mom got there, a nurse who was in training came and checked me. And she came with another nurse. She checked me and she was like, I mean, I maybe feel a little bit on the right, or I feel something on the right. And I was like, at this point, I was just like over it. I was just like, you know, whatever. Then the other nurse checked me and she's like, okay, I don't feel anything. And I was like, what do you mean? And she was like, you're complete. We're about to start pushing. And at this time, everybody's rolling stuff in the room. All these nurses come in here. And I was like, what the frick? We start doing some practice pushing. I don't know how long we pushed. It wasn't very long at all. And they were like, okay, call the doctor. She was 10 minutes away or something like that. So they call her up there. It came to a point where like I was pushing and then they were like, okay, stop. Like, don't push anymore. It was just so funny. I was like, I have to push. And they were like, no, you need to stop. Like, we're waiting on the doctor. And then by that time she comes in and a couple pushes and she's here. She was born on July 8th at 9:04 p.m. She was perfect. 8 pounds, 8 ounces. Just absolutely perfect. 21 3/4 inches long and just absolutely beautiful. And I think I was just like in shock, and I was also like super exhausted. Like the whole time I was pushing, my eyes were closed. Like I never opened my eyes. I had had so much apple juice the whole day. I had the worst reflux, probably that, and along with just being so big and laying on my back and doing all the things, all the medicines, all the whatever. I started gagging and started throwing up. And then unfortunately I did hemorrhage. And I could tell something was like going on, like, cause the doctor was down there for a long, not that I'd ever had a baby before, but I know I've seen people have a baby and it's not been like that. And like, I could see how serious she was, and I was kind of scared. I was like, oh my God, I just had this beautiful, perfect baby and I'm not going to make it to see her. And of course I know that's just like me thinking the worst. I did hemorrhage, and so I ended up having to have, I think they called it a Jada cup. My uterus was not contracting like it should, and so I just continued to bleed. And I knew that was what was happening because she just kept like putting laps in and they kept coming out soaked. And I did have a 2nd-degree tear. So at that point, they turned my epidural. At some point during the day, in the afternoon, after they had turned it off, they turned it back up about halfway. They gave me an extra bolus of my epidural at that point in the night because apparently those Jada cups are like super uncomfortable. So wasn't able to get out of bed. So that was a little bit discouraging because Steven had to get up every time and give her to me to feed during the night. But it was just crazy. And then, so they put the Jada cup in, they put a Foley catheter in. I couldn't get out of bed, like I said. It was like the craziest thing ever. I pushed for 40 minutes. I don't know if I said that. My nurse took so many good pictures. Oh my gosh. They honestly look like professional photos. Like she took a lot of them in black and white and they're just so special. And she took a few videos as well. It was the craziest experience of my life. The whole process from water breaking to the finish was about 21 hours. Now she's a month old and I can't believe it. It makes me so emotional. Every time I try to like go back and look at pictures, I'm like, oh my gosh, you were so small. And like now she weighs over 10 pounds, I'm sure. She's done really well. She's healthy. She's perfect. I love her so much. I've never known a love like this and it's so crazy. Like I'm literally gonna cry. Every minute of it was worth it because it gave me her, and like I've just really been enjoying this last month with her, and I'm super glad that I took the time to just like spend it with her because I could have just hopped right back into TikTok, but I just didn't want to. Like I wasn't ready, and I was, like I said earlier, I was dealing with a lot of anxiety. So if you want to hear more about that, just let me know. She's here, she's perfect, and I'm no longer pregnant, which makes me sad, but being a mom is just like everything that I've ever imagined it could be and more, and I'm just super thankful, and I've just finally stepped into my life's perfect purpose, and I just thank God every day. But yeah, let me know if you have any questions.